Hey. Welcome to another episode of Evolving Perspectives. My name is Matia Elise, your podcast host, and on this podcast, we dive deep into the stories of everyday people, discussing the hurdles they face and the triumphs they've achieved. We have real, raw conversations where we laugh, we cry, we uncover the incredible resilience within us all. From overcoming personal setbacks to navigating life's unexpected twists, each episode that you tune into is a testament to the human spirit's capacity to persevere and thrive. Tune in as we share moments of vulnerability, inspiration, and ultimately empowerment. Get ready to be uplifted and inspired as we showcase the unwavering strength of the human heart on Evolving Perspectives. Chime in. Well, hey, and welcome to another episode of Evolving Perspectives podcast. My name is Matia Elise, and I am your podcast host. And you guys, I am so amped about my guest for today. I've been trying to really think about, is this an episode where I'm going to feel attacked or what? I don't even know what to expect, but just flow with us because I think this is going to be an episode that'll make us, take a little inventory of ourselves and what we got going on in our lives. But I'm so excited to have my guest on the podcast today. Her name is Essense Heel, and she is a phenomenal woman. I had the pleasure of meeting her a few months ago, and just being in her presence just brings such a peace. And I can definitely understand why she does what she does and how she does what she does. I'm super excited about this conversation today. So I hope you all are tuned in, locked in, and ready to be transformed. So welcome to the stage, Essence. How you doing?
Thank you so much. I am happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I had the privilege of meeting you several months ago at a women's brunch that we were on the panel together. But I would like for you to formally introduce yourself to our audience.
Okay, yes. So we did meet a couple months ago. That was super exciting to be a part of that wonderful women's brunch. But about me, my name is Essence Heel. I am a Raleigh, North Carolina native. I have a background in the legal industry, but I have been an entrepreneur for the past 10 years, and I absolutely love what I do.
I love that. Will you tell us what you do? And then we're going to start diving into that.
Yes, so I am a professional organizer. I organize anything home related, from closets to pantries, kitchens, laundry rooms, you name it. Whatever's in your house that has a door, I can organize it.
Oh my gosh. So I'm going to be honest, like when you had posted something on social media a few weeks ago, maybe it was a few weeks ago, a few days ago, and it was so pretty because it was some Oreo cookies, right? That was in like this clear jar. And I think the caption was like, do you keep it like this or do you eat them or whatever? And it was so funny because in my head I was like, that is so cute. I'm like, who even wants to eat that? Because it just looks so pretty. It would be gorgeous on your counter or whatever. I'm like, do people really eat that? And who is taking the time to take them Oreos out and line them up so intricately in that jar? Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah,
That
next
has
level.
Yeah, that has become one of the staple things I do in a pantry. Anytime I organize a pantry, you got to have your cookies on display, and it doesn't have to be Oreos. It could be any round cookie, but Oreos kind of just does it for every pantry, and most people request those. But I've done like chocolate chip cookies, but it don't hit the same because you got the
It doesn't.
But yeah, that's just been a staple thing that I implement in my pantries for my clients. I've been doing that for I don't know how many. I don't even know at this point how many bags of Oreos I have touched over the last 7 years doing those. So yeah, Very, very
That
popular.
is hilarious. I was just looking like that is so tedious. But I do want to ask you because I'll be honest, when you said that you were a professional organizer, initially my thought was like, oh, okay. Because the thing about it is, I for myself, in my head, number one, I've never met anybody who was a professional organizer.
Yeah.
Like I have been obsessed over the years, although I haven't really done it myself, but I do like watching all those shows on HGTV where people are like, "Oh yes, everything needs a place," and "Oh, get your containers and do your thing," and I'm like, that sounds real good in my head. And then I'll go and do it. And then I'm like, can't keep it up. It's really the can't keep up. Like the initial, I'm like, okay, we got this. But the keeping it up is what ends up happening. Like, especially when it comes down to clothes. And then you got to take them to the cleaners and then you wash them and then trying to put them back exactly how you originally organized. That's the part that gets me every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. So first of all, how did you get into organize? Let's back it all the way up. How did you get into this? Because you said that you came from a legal background, but
Yeah.
that's a big switch.
That's a good question. So I started off in the legal profession as a paralegal, and fashion was always something that I loved. And so when I was at the law firm, I was wearing things like leopard blouse with a polka dot skirt, mixing
Oh
prints, very.
yeah.
I would wear orange blazer, a blue blazer, and you just didn't see that type of fashion in the office. Everything was, pretty standard, basic colors. Not trying to say people were basic, but I pushed
Right.
a little bit when it came to fashion in the workplace, and that drew attention. Now I'm an introvert, but my clothes were always extroverted. So that caused people to have conversations with me. And they would ask me, "Where'd you get that? I could never put that together. How did you think of that?" And it's just something that I have always naturally loved. And so my coworker actually, she encouraged me. She's like, "You really need to do something with this. People are always asking you to tell them where you got your fashions." And so she encouraged me. She even found a class for me to take under a professional a stylist, a personal stylist who was in Atlanta. She did all like the elite people on TV, and she did a class that taught me how to monetize styling people, but she also taught closet organization in addition to that. Now, this was 10 years.
Mm.
People were not inviting a stranger from the internet into their house to organize closets. Like that just was not a thing. And so how I began was with my coworkers. The same people that were encouraging me were some of my very first clients. So I would style coworkers for like Christmas parties and special company events. And that's how I started styling. But I noticed that the people that I was styling couldn't find the things that I was shopping for later on. So they would say,
Mm.
black shoes, or I need a black dress for this upcoming event. And I was like, no, remember we did that in the fall. That should already be a part of your staple wardrobe. And they're like, I don't know where it is.
Like, what happened to us? This? Where's
And
it at?
like, okay, we need to tap into what's going on in your closet. Like, how do you not know? And we just got it. And so that led me to the closets. And so I started organizing for people that I had shopped for, making sure
Ah.
that they were wearing what I was buying for them. And so that's how the organizing started. Um, and a few short years later, I was able to start marketing that styling business separately from organizing. And I started really just focusing on organizing probably around 2017 and 18. And from there, um, I started doing closets only. I got my first pantry client. That same client, it was a really big house, 8,000 square feet, and that
Woo.
client wanted me to do the entire house. So that's where I got my feet wet in linen closets, the kitchen, the pantry. I did his whole house, and after that, the rest is history.
Wow, that is remarkable. Like the whole time that you were talking, the thing that just kept coming to me is your gift will make room for you. I mean, honestly, because you truly were just being yourself. And I feel like, especially now with social media and all the things, people have this almost false misconception that they need to be something that they're not. They need to chase the next biggest idea and the next, the latest, greatest, MLM or whatever. Or is it MLM? The market,
MLM, yeah,
the
multi-level marketing. Yep.
yes, exactly. They feel, and I mean, no pun intended, but they feel like they always need to be chasing something else. Whereas it was like, you showed up with just being you.
Yeah.
And that thing led to another. And whoever, even as we're getting ready to get into this conversation, as you're listening, let this be an encouraging moment that stop trying to be something that you're not. Stop
Yeah.
trying to create something outside of the realm of who you are at the core. Like I'm sure, like you were saying, like even with the styling and things like that, it's like, okay. And I think a lot of times people don't know how to really almost probably monetize who they are and what they do, just innately. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing that you had to go out and search. Of course, you refined it by taking a class or what have you, but it was who you were and you were already doing it. And so that is really, really encouraging. That's amazing. So at this point, so once you start doing that, you were still working for the law office and you were doing that on the side, or at what point did you decide it was time to transition and all of that?
So I didn't get to decide. My job decided for me.
Oh, okay.
About a year after I took the class, we had I was working I was at the law firm, that particular law firm, for 7 years, and we had just finished a massive class action case. And
Mhm.
that case ended, they were trying to almost like shuffle us around into different roles and different positions. And so, right, we had choices. It was like you can either now be this after the case ended or accept the package. And I took that package and kept going. So that's
Wow.
I didn't have, entrepreneur experience. I kind of like figured it out. Made a lot of mistakes, of course, but it pushed me. That decision pushed me into like, are you going to really take this serious or not? And so, I'm thankful for it now. It was a scary experience, just, taking a leap of faith out and figuring a business out, an industry out, because I didn't know anybody. Like you haven't met another organizer. This is still a kind of a new market, especially for women of
Yeah.
color. And so I didn't have a mentor or role model. I took that one class, and she's a celebrity stylist and organizer. So it's not like I had access to her to be like, okay, what do I do now? What do I do now? Like
Right, right.
that was it. And so yeah, I just had to try to figure that out. Um,
Wow.
Back to something you said a minute ago. You said about being authentic and being yourself and not trying to do whatever's trending. What I like to encourage people to do who don't know what they want to do or what they want to be, but they know they want to do something on their own. Think about whatever you are complimented on the most.
Mm.
If somebody is always saying, girl, your hair is laid, and you are not a hairstylist and you are not a professional stylist, you need to figure out a way to monetize that. If they're saying, you know what, your earrings are you wear the prettiest earrings, are you making them, are you, whatever your compliment is, if you are kind, if you are always complimented on being kind, find a way to monetize that. And there are multiple ways. If you're not providing a service or a product, social media. I think one of
Yeah.
the highest paid TikTokers is a guy who doesn't even talk. He
Mm.
doesn't speak in his videos, but he learned to
That's
monetize.
so crazy.
Yeah, he learned to monetize that. So think about something that you're complimenting on or that people are constantly talking to you about. If you're good at giving advice or listening or whatever, think about ways to monetize that.
Yeah, you are exactly right. And it's funny because I am on TikTok and I have a decent following. I mean, I'm not, in the 50,000s, but I have a decent following. And so I was just saying today, I was like, now it's trending on TikTok, like, oh, ways to go viral. Like, oh, you want to go viral. Oh, you want to, and it's honestly, when you're in a social media world, it can be exhausting. Let's begin with that. It can be
Yeah.
exhausting because you're constantly posting. You got to make, you want to be making sure you're doing all that. But like seeing some people on there, and like you said, like even with me doing my own research, there are people who literally were like stay at home moms. And all they're doing, and me and my niece were talking the other day about it, because this girl that she follows, like when I say like she's basic, and she really has branded herself. She doesn't have a perfectly curated background. Her aesthetics is not all that amazing, but she's like, I'm a stay at home mom. These kids getting on my nerves. Like it's like the most randomest stuff. And she has hundreds of thousands of followers. Y'all, I'm going to get my hair done today. I mean, and making so much money. It
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's so crazy. We are in a different era, a different time. And just, when people, talk about not having a job and not having anything, I'm like, this is not the day and time where you can be like, I don't have nothing to do. Honey, you can create whatever you want. Get it, say hi to the people.
Prop
And
the
if you
camera
said
up. Yeah.
TikTok,
Uh-oh.
a faceless account, and people are making so much money off of stuff like that. So you are exactly right about that. And so I guess my question for you is, because I really would on the podcast, I always like to make sure that people are not just, it's not just something to, share information or just for conversation purposes, but even giving them tips and things that can be applicable to their life, that they can move on and feel encouraged and inspired. And so I know for myself, I would like for you to maybe help me, because I am a busy person, right? Just like a lot of people, you have, I work, got business, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and, trying to do all the things. And then as far as me being organized, that is definitely an area that my husband says all the time, he's like, I don't understand how we clean up and 2 days later it looked like ain't nothing. Like and it's like you come in, you're busy, you're taking your shoes off, you're doing it, you start cooking, then I mean, and it's like next thing you know, what was organized in a matter of minutes feels like what happened? Like what did I do? So I would like for you to maybe provide us some tips or helpful little ideas or things that maybe can help us get organized possibly or whatever. I don't know. Whatever you think. I need help. Let me just say that. I'm
Yeah.
talking about myself.
Yeah. I think number one, most people have too much stuff. You just have
Oh,
too much stuff. We live in a society now where you can literally have things delivered to your door in hours, in minutes, in days. That we used to have to physically go to the mall, go to the store, and actually get it. It
that's
literally
true.
dropped off at your doorstep, and the convenience of that is great. But what we're not doing, especially after the pandemic, is keeping inventory of how much is coming in versus how much is going out. So one of the first
Mm.
things when I do a consultation with the client is, when's the last time you purged? And everybody says the same thing. I purge all the time. I just gave away some clothes. I just gave away some shoes. And that's good. But it's really about how much did you give away? How much do you
Oh
have
man.
versus how much you give away? And 9 times out of 10, purging is very
Mhm.
hard for people. There's emotional attachments, there's financial attachments, there's things that I see people, especially with children, they'll have like the a Barbie house or the little rider jeeps and things that I can't
Oh
remember.
yes.
The,
I know what you're talking about. Hmm.
yeah, that cost a lot of money, but he's
Yeah.
10. He can't. I'll say, why is that still in the house? And they're like, oh my God, I spent so much money on that thing. I'm like, but
That's true.
he can't ride it. He'll never get on that again. And it's the memory of when the child was that age, and the amount of money that was spent on that gift for that Christmas that year that the
Yeah.
parents are still attached to. So things like that, you got to let it go. Things that you've that have been outdated, especially children. We hold on to sizes we can't never get in.
You ain't never lied.
Feel that everybody got that gold section in their closet. And what I say to that to clients, it's okay to have like, okay, two pair of jeans that you say, one day I'm gonna get back to that size. Let's say two pair. But if the majority of your closet is goals, you gotta
Yeah.
and even letting go of those two pair is okay. You know why? Because if you get down to whatever that goal is, it's nothing better than getting the new size in the store of
That
whatever.
is true.
Is nothing better. So you're really not holding on to that product. You're holding on to the vision of that size. Go get you some new size, whatever your goal is, a 10, a 6, or whatever that is. Go get some new ones.
Yeah. Yeah, you are right. You are right. That is true. I mean, I think like for me, just probably over the last maybe 6 months, I kept telling my husband, I was like, I need to get this closet organized. I gotta get this closet organized. Cause I felt like just like what you said, I had stuff that was old, stuff that was, and then I had to go through and really look like literally pull everything out. And when I pulled everything out, one of my friends years ago before, I mean, I probably was right out of college first with my first place. And she was really good with all like the purging thing. Cause I was like, girl, like you ain't get rid of my clothes. And so she's like, Mattia, you need to pull all this stuff out. Okay, let's think about, what you wear, what you like. And so I remember that and just watching other little shows. This other lady I used to watch years ago, Marie Kondo or something.
Yeah.
I think she was on HGTV and she would talk about that. Like, when you need to get rid of stuff, think about, does it bring you joy? And if it doesn't bring you joy, to let it go. And so even as I was going through my closet, I was like, okay, Messia, this needs to go. You haven't worn these shoes. And it was so Essence, when I tell you, I pulled out some boots. When I saw the boots, like they were on like almost like the sole was dry rot. I was like, man, this is ridiculous. Why am I holding on to this? This is crazy. But I think part of it too, like during COVID, you know what I mean? And one of my friends, she's like, I'm sick of people always blaming COVID. That was 5 years ago. But literally during COVID, before pre-COVID, actually, I was in the heels and I was in the, the all the dressier things, right? And then COVID happened and we weren't going anywhere. And so now, fast forward 5, 6 years later, I'm like, okay, so what we gonna do with these clothes? Like, are they still good? Are they not? Can I fit them? Can I not? And when I started pulling stuff out, I was like, mm-mm. And even because for some reason, like I accumulate like all these different t-shirts and stuff like that. And I'm like, what? I'm not even a t-shirt person. Where am I getting these t-shirts from? But when you have little events, somebody's having an event day, you get a t-shirt for that. Then somebody, and so it's like you go through all this stuff, and then it's like, oh, and I keep it because in my head, I'm like, oh, when I go walking or I go to the gym, oh, I'll wear that shirt or whatever. I'm like, girl, let it go.
Yes. Yes. It's really you have to think about it in terms of capacity. What does your closet have the capacity for? Closets are just like jeans. They have a limit. And
Mm,
what people tend to do is start extending. So it's almost like you're adding these things to make more room, but your closet is already at capacity. So they'll buy these things. Oh, if you put this here and stick more jeans over here, and it's not that at all. Less is more. Less is more. And 9 times out of 10, if you can't see it, you're not going to wear it. So stuffing it into these
true.
rollers, and the number one mistake that I see is now we're in a product driven society. So people see all these videos on TikTok and Instagram now that organizing is a trend.
Mm-hmm.
order. Oh, she said she got this for her closet, and look at her jeans, and now I'm gonna have all my t-shirts like that. No, 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 no. There is no cookie cutter resource for everybody's closet. Is we have to look at the capacity, we have to look at your lifestyle, and your inventory. So that's kind of how I assess what's going on. I love what you said about COVID. Yes, it was a while ago, but our lives changed.
Yeah.
Our dynamics change. And so that's another part of the assessment. I kind of, especially, oh my gosh, in pantries, purging is important in pantries too.
Yeah.
My toughest push is the seasonings.
Ooh, that right there. That
People,
right there.
I don't care how big the house is, how much money the client has, they will fight me about that seasoning. The
That would be
season.
me.
So I'm like, so I say to them, like, if you walked into a restaurant and found out that they had seasonings and spices from 2017, would you want?
Oh, that's a good perspective because when I took it's like what's so funny I'm laughing because my daughter is like obsessed with expiration dates, like
Yeah,
obsessed.
I love it.
It drives me nuts. Like it could be something like it expired yesterday. Oh my gosh, we need to throw this in the trash. I'm like, girl, when you start buying groceries, then you can throw stuff in the trash. Keep my ketchup right in that refrigerator. And so- I'm like, ma'am, like she will go through that pantry. I'm like, say, I think I'm going to use that. Ma, it said 2020. I'm like, oh, 20. Oh, I guess. And that's the thing that's so sad is because like sometimes you'll buy, like, I know I won't say you, I'm going to say me. I'll buy stuff because I'm like, oh, it was on sale or, oh, I'm going to make something. Or sometimes I may have had a recipe in my head that needed something specific. And so then I end up keeping it and then don't make the thing. And then, time goes on and then I forget because it's not something I would normally use. Like it's a whole cycle. And
Yes.
yeah.
No, I totally understand it. I hear it all the time. And just think about it as a restaurant or a food truck. If you went and picked up their ketchup and it said 2023, you're gonna be like, I don't know about that.
That would be true.
I don't know about that. If your favorite family member that make the best pies is still using nutmeg from 20, think about
You are
that.
correct.
And technically, when it comes to seasonings, but the reason why people give me so much pushback is because nothing is gonna technically happen to you, right? You can't
Right.
necessarily die from it, but it does affect the potency of whatever recipe in the food that you're applying it to. So new seasoning is always going to add more flavor than old. Why wouldn't you want to give it your best?
You're right. You are correct. I really appreciate you sharing that because now maybe I'll be encouraged to to go through my pantry and my seasonings and yeah, because I did do a purge. Probably a matter of fact, because my niece is always also very much like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. She came over my house. She was like, your pantry of seasonings looks like the seasoning aisle. This is ridiculous. What is all of this? Because it's like I got a problem with seasonings. I feel so vulnerable right now. Like, like I'll be in the seasonings aisle and I'm like, ooh, spicy barbecue garlic season. That sounds amazing. Like, what am I getting ready to use it for? I don't even know. But it's like all this, and don't let me go through a TJ Maxx.
I was
Oh,
about to say that. That is
honey,
yes, because they got
yeah,
whatever you could ever imagine in seasonings. I love that. I love that. And there's nothing wrong with it. Again, it's about capacity. What do you have a seasoning drawer? Do you have a seasoning rack? Like what does your pantry or kitchen have the capacity for? And what are you truly using? And get rid of that old stuff to make room for that new stuff. That's it.
Yeah. It's
That's it.
very true. You are correct. I'm not bucking anything you're saying because you are 100% correct. And I'm going to try my best to do a little bit better. But
Yeah.
I would like for people who are, I guess, well, the average person, I'll say, like, I know sometimes people have like these things like, oh, I think you should organize. Like, well, you did say that, of course, there's no cookie cutter, like, way to organize, but is as far as just keeping things, that's really my thing is keeping it up. Like, I've gone through and kind of organized my stuff from time to time, and then you look up and 2 months later you're like, but I thought I had thrown away. Like, literally over the Christmas holidays, my family was here and my niece opened up my cupboard. Did they even say cupboard anymore? Like the cupboard or whatever. And so she's like, why do you have all these cups? Like, you don't need 50. I'm like, I don't know. She's like, some of these, where's the top? I was like, oh, I don't know. It's in there somewhere. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not going because I know the top is in here somewhere. Like, where? I don't know. But let's not. She was like, let's go ahead and get rid of that. All this stuff with stains in it. We're gonna get rid of. And I'm like, okay, all right. And I was open and receptive. But I feel like even though she got rid of all that stuff and helped me purge, like when I look at my cupboard again, I'm like, why it look like it didn't multiply? Like, what have I bought more stuff? Like, what happened? And I don't know if it's like the way it was initially put together. And then of course when my kids do the dishes and they put stuff up, it's not the same as when I so it's like trying to keep things together. I think that's the main thing that I have the issue with is like the keeping it up is really, do you have any like tips on, like, some people say, oh, you need to purge every 3 months, or oh, you should pick up for 15 minutes a day, or do you have a regimen that you find that works best for your clients? Because once you organize their home, are you coming back to their house, like, or is it kind of like, I'm gonna get you started and you keep it up and you bring me back a year later? Like, how, what does that look like?
That's a good question. I'm so glad you asked that. And organizing is very similar to beauty and hair in the aspect of a client's hair growth versus another client's hair growth. Some clients may need their ends trimmed every 3 months. Some clients may need their ends trimmed every 6 weeks. So it
Hmm.
really depends on the client. And maintenance is related to that as well. You get your hair back in the day, we used to get wraps and doobies. And
Right.
your hair be looking good, and you sit in the chair, you get it fresh, and it falls down on your shoulders, and then you say, how am I going to keep this up?
That's true.
The expert is there to tell you, okay, this is what you're going to do. This is the kind of comb you need, this kind of brush you need, this is the kind of scarf you need. Now we do bonnets. I don't do bonnets, but
Right.
bonnets are the thing. So it's like there is a maintenance plan based on the client and what's going on in the dynamics of the home. Some people are they just need the system put in place and they are able to maintain. Same thing with hair. Some clients you don't have to worry about. They're gonna take care of it. They ain't gonna keep putting in the ponytail like me, but they gonna use the products you recommend. It's the same thing in my industry. There is a system. There is a way to maintain it, and sometimes it's just letting the expert be the expert in your home. Your family, they're not gonna respect your work the way that they respect my work, especially kids. And
Yeah.
I even tell my clients to use me as their excuse to the children. Look, Miss Essence said, make sure you put your tray back so that we know where this goes. It's a system.
Yeah.
So I teach the clients and the family how to maintain it. But realistically, it's not ideal to come back a year later and your pantry be perfect. Life be life in.
Yeah. Yeah.
The container may be there, but it may be on the other side, or it may be, misplaced. That's going to happen. So there is refresh packages that I offer, maintenance packages that I offer. Some clients are like, ain't no way I'm gonna keep this done. They
Right, right.
how soon can you come back? Go ahead and put me on that plan. And then
Yeah.
some people are just fine. So it just depends.
Gotcha,
Yep.
gotcha. That make yeah, that definitely does make sense because it's like how would you know when to come back, or is it something where it's kind of like almost like you get your house clean like once a month you come, or once every 6 months or whatever, or however that works. But that's okay. That makes sense. So because
Yeah,
I'm
even with the
always yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
jar, there's a way to maintain it. So it looks perfect on the outside, but I fill the middle and I just dump the middle. And so you can reach inside and eat from the middle. Now, why my client didn't do that, that's a method for me to teach you. Like, if you're going to eat them, eat from right here. That way, the jar will always be pretty. And all you got to do, you get a new bag, is dump it in there.
Yeah.
Something about them tearing them cookies up that they
I
should.
know. It's so tempting because it's almost like a jigsaw puzzle. So you're like, let me just see if I could take one out and see what happens.
Yeah,
It's probably more or less that, or that you just not even thinking because it's like to look at something so neat and organized. I'm like, wow, this is pretty incredible. And so let me ask you this. I know that you deal with you have a lot of celebrity clients and just clients who have, very large homes and things like that. So on average, do you do this work by yourself? Do you have a team? I guess it depends on what they're wanting you to do, whether it's just a closet or their home or their pantry or the whole house or whatever. Like what as far as time frame is concerned, like what does that look like?
yeah. So there's different policies in place for how I decide that. So I do have part-time organizers that work with me on larger projects, um,
Okay.
but only locally. So I have clients in 7 different states. So if I travel alone, and however big that project is, I'm just going to tackle it by myself.
Oh wow.
But locally within North Carolina, I do have a team of organizers that have worked with me for a long period of time, about 5 years, that I can always call on um, to assist me. So it just depends on the project, how large it is, how soon it needs to be done, and the client's request. Some clients do not want anyone else in their home,
Yeah.
and they have an understanding though that it's going to take longer. If it's a big
Mm-hmm.
it's me. So yeah, it just depends.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. What is the largest project that you've done?
The largest what
Project.
project? I would say the largest house that I've ever done was 15,000 square feet.
Wow. And so what all did you have to do for that particular
I did
person?
the two closets, two closets because the house has two people in it.
Oh wow. Oh
It
my
was a,
gosh.
it was a very big closet. It had like seating in the closet, so like there's a couch in there, like tables, very big. So that was the biggest house that I've done. But there are
Okay.
dynamics when it comes to that too. So there may be a smaller home with large number of people, right?
Yeah,
So planning a 5,000 square foot home for 6 people is a challenge.
absolutely.
Yeah. So coming up with methods and systems, it looks like it's about aesthetics because of social media. But my
Hmm.
mind is a process for systems. So I have to study the family. I have to study the routines. I have to determine, like, if your child is losing their coat every day and you're yelling, Where's your coat at? Let's go. Where's your book bag? Let's go. I have to figure out why
Hmm.
it's happening. And so to see the routines, okay, well, when your son comes in, he just drops everything off in the garage or he leaves it in the car. But you have to think about children in terms of school, right?
Right.
They don't have that problem in school. They don't lose their coats at school. They don't lose it unless they leave it. But as far as in the
Hmm.
classroom, The reason why they don't lose stuff in the classroom is because the teacher has systems. They have assigned seats, they have assigned cubbies, they have assigned hooks. Everything is a system at school. And so people say, well, my child will never maintain this. They're not going to listen. I said, but they do it at school.
That's true.
Tear up the teacher's classroom. So why are you letting them tear up your house? They
That
have
is very true.
They know where the toys go. They know where the Kleenex is in the classroom. They know where everything is, and everything has a label. So we have to implement those same systems at home. When you get home, here's your hook. Here, go in the mud room or wherever that is, the hall closet. They have to have the routine and system in order for it to be maintained.
Got it. That makes sense. That does make 100% sense. And because I was thinking about that myself, even with my kids, because they're forever. I can't find something I can, and I'm thinking like, well, what did you just do with? Like, what did you? Like, literally, I feel like almost every day my son's like, I don't know where my jacket is, and I'm thinking like, well, what did you do with that? Maybe I left it. Did I leave it at school? Is it in it? Is it? And you're exactly right, because when they come home, they just
Yep.
just taking stuff off. And I'm like, okay. And with you saying that, that makes 100. And I have like the coat racks and stuff like that, but really just reinforcing to them, like, when you walk in the door, you need to do you need to do
Yeah.
that. That is more, because that's probably the piece that I'm missing. Even for myself, like, because I'm like, but by the time I get in, normally I'm so exhausted, honestly, that I'm like, I'm trying, but I'm spent,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
It
know.
happens for sure. Even the simple things like laying your keys down.
Yes.
So I even implement strategies for keys, especially if you have a lot of vehicles or different people are driving, this one that day or dropping the kids off, carpool, all that stuff. You have to have a system for your keys. That's huge in homes where people are losing them is because there's no system. You might go coming through the garage or coming through the side door, or, whatever the case may be. You have to have a system based on your routine, and that's part of organizing.
Yeah. You are exactly right. You are exactly right. Wow. I love all the things that you shared, because I'm just like, this is something. Now, I guess this is, I don't know how to really ask this, but do you do everyday people, or do you pretty much just have celebrity clients? Or because I know people from all walks of life, of course, need some type of organization. So is this, how does that work?
I do anybody who can afford the invoice. Doesn't
Okay.
doesn't matter the size of your house. It doesn't matter how many people it is. It doesn't matter where you live. Travel wise, it doesn't matter to me. I have a. I'll give you an estimate based on whatever we discuss, what areas you want to get done. Some people start small. Normally, people will start with a closet or pantry, um,
Mm-hmm.
and then they kind of get hooked. They get addicted because they're like, "Oh wait, when can you come back and do this?" Or when I want to do this now, it gets addictive. Um,
Yeah.
but I will do anything. It doesn't matter if you have an apartment or rental. It does a mansion. It doesn't intimidate me at all. The size. There's no project too small or too large. It's all about if you want to get it done and getting the invoice taken care of.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Well, I want to make sure that everybody can find you on social media, as well as any contact information you would like to share if you have a website or anything like that. Because I want to make sure you guys are following Essence. Like, when I look at her social media page, I'm like, girl, this looks so amazing. I absolutely love all the things that you're doing. And I want to make sure that my listeners are following you as well, and not just following you, but hiring you. So that is definitely the next level for all of this. But if you will tell us how we can keep in contact with you or follow you, and how to contact you.
You can follow me on social media. All platforms Essence, ESSENSE of Closets, Essence of Closets, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. It's all Essence of Closets.
Okay, perfect. Perfect,
Yes.
perfect, perfect. Well, Essence, I am so glad that we were able to connect today. This has been such a treat to have you on here. We normally, like, sometimes, I mean, with this podcast, I kind of do a little bit of everything. Like any type of evolution in your life, your family, or work, how you arrived to where you are, how you got into the industry, whatever your thing is. And so to have you on was definitely a treat. I appreciate you taking the time out. I know you are very busy traveling and all the things. I know you like, listen, I'm in this hotel, but we're gonna make this happen. So I appreciate that you taking the time out to do this with me and spending the evening with me. I really, really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank
thank you, thank you.
It was such a pleasure. I absolutely enjoyed it. So thank you.
You are welcome. You're welcome. Well, this concludes this particular episode. Thank you all so much for listening, for joining in. It has been such a great episode. I hope you all are ready and encouraged. Not ready, but I hope you all are encouraged because I felt a little. Oh, I was taking deep breaths as we was having that conversation. And so I'm going to try. I hope my husband's not listening to this because he's going to be like, oh, really? Let's see what we got. But
Can I
I'm
leave
going
a
to
tip?
really try.
Can
What
I
was you
leave
going to say, Essence?
can I leave a tip for you and your viewers?
Yes, please do. I would love that.
If you leave with anything tonight, leave with, in regards to organizing, purge before you purchase.
Mm,
Purge before you purchase. Don't buy nothing else. Don't buy no containers. Don't buy no hangers. Don't buy nothing else. Purge before you purchase.
that's a great tip because I mean, honestly, whenever you see those shows and stuff, or just looking at, like you said, TikTok and all the videos, it's like, oh, they said buy this, oh, get this, oh, get that. Just like what you were saying. And so you don't even think about the purging part. Like, because if you purge first, then you may even realize, like, I don't even need all this stuff that I've bought to even try to organize it. So that, yeah, that makes 100% sense.
Exactly.
It does. Y'all
Thank you.
take note. You are so welcome. Thank you for that last little tidbit. That was a great gem that you dropped. And you all make sure you are following us on all our social media platforms. Make sure you are downloading us every single time we drop an episode. And I cannot wait for you all to continue in listening to the episodes coming up after this particular one, as well as making sure that you are following Essence on all her social media platforms, hiring her and all the things. And I just want to say, as I conclude every single episode, always remember to keep evolving. Y'all be easy until next time. Thank you again for tuning in to Evolving Perspectives podcast. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, and downloading every episode every other Monday. You can tune in on YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, as well as a number of different streaming platforms. Thank you again, and always remember to keep evolving.